Welcome to another episode of our podcast, Pandesal with Wilson Lee Flores. Magpandesal tayo here at Kamuning Bakery Cafe. Baking since 1939. Today, our hot topic is about the recent announcement of Vice President Sara Duterte announcing that she will be presidential candidate of the Philippines for the May 2028 election. If I'm not mistaken, the election is scheduled for May 8, 2028, or more than almost 2 years from now. My reaction and my analysis about Vice President Sara Duterte's announcement of her presidential candidacy is, I think, to keep all the rumors and everything, to set the record straight. I think she wants to let people know that she is really ready to run for president of the Philippines. Maybe I think she also timed this announcement because she knows, this is my own analysis, I think she knows that there are many moves to try to impeach her as vice president, and she knows, and all her supporters know, that all these impeachment attempts since 2 years ago up to now have all been related to the 2028 elections. I think this is no longer a secret for everyone. Whether you are pro-Duterte or anti-Sara Duterte, the impeachment issue has become a political issue about 2028. I think that is the truth. Whether people like it or not, all the political moves, many of the political moves happening now are in relation to the 2028 election. We have an election every 6 years in the Philippines, and I believe, people ask me what is my reaction. I am neutral politically to everyone. I'm not attached to any political party or faction. My reaction is every candidate for president of the Philippines is welcome to announce and to run. This is part of the dynamic, healthy political democracy of the Philippines. Actually, I think this is healthy because it will make the political debate and discourse public. So the whole country will have time to discuss for 2 years what will be the priorities of the next administration, what are the issues needed to be addressed by the country. I hope all the candidates running for president will announce their economic, social, political reform agenda. I hope and wish that all candidates for 2028 will promise to improve the Philippine economy, will improve the lives of the people beyond what we are experiencing now. Those are my initial reaction that actually before Vice President Sara Duterte announced her candidacy, what has been happening last year and in the past months and past few years, everyone, all of us know, all of these are part of the 2028 election. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, my former Ateneo de Manila University classmate, Senator Risa Ontiveros, also mentioned that she is available to run for president. There are also rumors saying, even Justice Secretary Remulla also said he is available to run for president if given the chance. So if I'm not mistaken, there are already 3 candidates now formally mentioned that they are available. I think among the first to say that, if I'm not mistaken, Secretary Remulla already announced. I remember reading or watching the news, he said he is available to run for president, most likely as candidate of President Bongbong Marcos. Another possible candidate, the Akbayan political party leader, considered part of the yellow political faction, Senator Risa Ontiveros, and now the Vice President of the Philippines, Sara Duterte. I think these are the 3 already who have expressed willingness, are not coy, they are not shy about it, they are frank and honest about their availability to run for president, I think that is good news. So that people will already be weighing all the options. I think this is very healthy for Philippine democracy.
Bakit of all time,
Yes.
ngayon siya mag-a-announce ng candidacy niya? Why now?
Thank you for that question, John Ray. I'm not a politician, but my analysis and my guess is like this. The attempt of the anti-Duterte camp with the aligned with President Bongbong Marcos, those aligned with the Yellow camp, the Liberal Party, and even the people among the leftist people, many people who are anti-Duterte are very enthusiastic now in pushing the impeachment in Congress. So I think Vice President, this is my theory. My theory is Vice President Sara Duterte is very courageous in asserting her candidacy. Maybe she wanted to tell the world that this impeachment is entirely about politics. It has nothing to do with her fitness or not fitness to be a leader. I think, this is my theory, she wants to let the whole world know that all these attempts at impeachment by the lower house, by the congressmen, is entirely, in Tagalog, it means pamumulitika. Na all these issues are not really issues of corruption or competence or good governance. I think she wants to let the whole world know, or to call a spade a spade. She wants to lay bare already what's happening, and I think it's possible Vice President Sara Duterte wants to fight the impeachment and other attempts to malign her by telling the whole world this is all about 2028. So she might as well drop the pretense already, like all the other politicians, and also announce her candidacy. I think this is a very bold move and bold gambit, because usually in politics, some people are very shy or very deceptive or very many politicians are best actors and best actresses in political theater. They always say, I don't want to run, I'm not interested, I'm not running for president, but deep inside, in their heart, they really want to run. So maybe this is a little bit different from most politicians. This is my theory. My theory is the intensity of the impeachment attempt. And don't forget, this is my analysis, some people I talk to, they claim that attempts by people to sideline certain senators, several senators who are identified with the Sara Duterte camp, like Bato de la Rosa and maybe even Bongo and the others, the ICC case. Some people claim to me, they told me, all this part of the attempt to impeach Vice President. Because if the government or the anti-Duterte camp could find ways to sideline the senators one by one, using the extrajudicial killing as an issue, or using other issues to one by one take out the senators, maybe they think they will have the numbers to convict and impeach Vice President Sara Duterte. I think this is what we will be seeing in the year 2026. The bigger suspense of the impeachment and the political drama of 2028 has already really started. Don't forget, diba, this is the year of the fire horse. This is like the horse race has really started. So we already have 3 horses. Diba? Secretary Rimulya is a horse. Senator Risa Ontiveros is another horse. They announced already or mentioned they are available. And now you have Vice President Sara Duterte. I think there are other candidates possible for president. Some people are mentioning, do you want to know, there are people mentioning possible presidential candidate also in the camp of President Bongbong Marcos. You have the other senators and other cabinet secretaries. One possible name that people are mentioning, in fairness, these other names are presidential timber. They have the long veteran political experience. You have Senator Ping Lacson. I remember I went to the wake of the late Speaker Joe De Venecia. One political person there mentioned to me that Senator Ping Lacson might be a good presidential candidate. Another possible candidate people should consider among the Marcos camp, Senate President Tito Soto might be a possible candidate. Who else? I even heard some people saying that among the cabinet secretaries of President Bongbong Marcos, a very hardworking person is Secretary Vince Dizon. Very hardworking, very vocal, and very visible in the media. Might be another dark horse candidate for president. Who else? Can you name other names that you think are possible? Somebody said among the Yellows or the Liberal Party, another possible presidential candidate, although he looks young, but he's no longer too young, he's old enough, Senator Bam Aquino, who is one of the top senatorial winners in the last election last year. Another very, very famous possible candidate for 2028 election, but in fairness to her, she had said several times that she is not interested to run again as president, is Naga City Mayor Leni Robredo. She is another potential candidate for the Liberal Party, and there are even speculations saying that President Bongbong Marcos might not oppose her running. That's the rumor. I talked to two very veteran political analysts. They claim that 2028, President Bongbong Marcos, his administration might come out with a public candidate, official candidate of the ruling party, the Partido Federalista ba yun? With another candidate, but might secretly, quietly support a yellow or Liberal Party candidate as long as he and his officials will not be prosecuted after 2028. That is the view of two veteran political analysts who talked to me. That is another scenario. So the scenario now that I see, many people are hoping to run for President of the Philippines 2028. Of course, the front runner right now, I think, is Vice President Sara Duterte. Front runner, you have Secretary Remulla and Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Who do you think the biggest opponent of VP Sara?
Yes.
Kasi there are rumors that Congressman
Yes.
Romualdez.
Yes. Very interesting your question. I will repeat your question for the sake of clarity. You mentioned that Vice President Sara Duterte already announced she will run for president. You mentioned who will be her biggest rivals. You mentioned the name of Senator Risa Ontiveros. You mentioned the name of former Speaker Martin Romualdez. I forgot to mention. Thank you for reminding me. I think, in fairness to Speaker Martin Romualdez, he is still in contention to be a presidential candidate. In fairness, he has the resources, he has the connections, and in fairness to former Speaker Martin Romualdez, he has not been charged or even convicted of any crimes, even corruption. So I think we should not count him out as still a possible candidate for president. Earlier you mentioned who will be the biggest rivals of Vice President Sara Duterte. I think, based on my analysis, I still believe that the biggest contender or rival of Vice President Sara Duterte will be former Vice President Leni Robredo. I think Mayor of Naga Mayor Leni Robredo is still the strongest candidate among the Yellows, among the Liberal Party. I think even Risa Ontiveros is not yet as strong as Leni Robredo. I think Leni Robredo has a wider following, bigger following as of today, February 18, 2026. But it's hard to totally forecast 2 years from now, because 2 years in Philippine politics or even world politics is like eternity. Don't forget, things happen very fast in politics. So as of now, I believe the strongest candidate for 2028 is Vice President Sara Duterte. And the biggest competitor or possible rival, even though she keeps saying she is not interested, I think it is still Naga City Mayor Leni Robredo. Of course, whoever President Bongbong Marcos will endorse as official candidate of the ruling party will have a big advantage in terms of government resources, government networks, and publicity. So that is another big question mark, who President Bongbong Marcos will endorse or anoint as his possible successor. And I want to add something else na very interesting for me. Do you know that 2028 is a big election year, not only for the Philippines? In the US, the election will be November 2028. There will be a presidential election, but Donald Trump is no longer a candidate because he is serving already his second term as president of the US. And there are already, right now, many candidates trying to run for president. On November 7, 2028, that is the official election day of USA for the next president of the US. And since Donald Trump cannot run anymore, the possible candidates in America running among the Republican Party, the front runner to be a possible president of the United States is Vice President J.D. Vance. The Vice President of the US now, the loyal sidekick of President Donald Trump, he is, I think, front runner to be the Republican presidential candidate. Another candidate possible who might run for president to challenge J.D. Vance or possibly even slide down to be his vice president is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He is another possible candidate for US president. Another one is Brian Kemp. Another Republican is Glenn Youngkin. Among the Democratic Party, the opposition in America, the very famous candidate that people are talking about and very high profile, eloquent, dynamic leader, and I think very qualified to be a good US president, is the California Governor Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is the California governor who is very successful. He might be a very strong challenger against J.D. Vance. Another one is Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. He is another possible major contender for presidential candidate from the Democratic Party. Another one, very charismatic, is Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She is very vocal, courageous. She might be a very good presidential candidate. But don't forget, many of the candidates who are posturing or trying to position themselves as presidential contender, whether Philippines or United States, usually, if they cannot win the nomination of the party, they usually willingly slide down to be vice presidential candidate. So do not dismiss any contenders and candidates. They might be posturing to be president or announcing to be presidential candidate and maybe want to negotiate downwards with the candidate that will eventually win. Another possible dark horse candidate for US president among the Democrats, the one who lost to Donald Trump in the last election, the vice president of Joe Biden.
Kamala Harris.
Yes, Miss Kamala Harris, the former vice president of the United States, the first woman vice president in US history, and the first half black, half Indian. She might be a strong contender to run for president under the Democratic Party. Another place in the world that will have another election, guess which place in the world will have another election, January 2028. I will tell you, you might not be able to guess it. Our nearest neighbor, guess which place in the world is physically the nearest to the Philippines and very controversial place. Always part of controversy.
China.
Another one nearer,
Taiwan.
part of China. Tama. Taiwan in January 2028 will have a presidential election. very funny, very unique situation. Taiwan is technically not a country. Even in Taiwan, the government that they use, the government name, the official name of the government in Taiwan is called the Republic of China in Taiwan Island or Taiwan Province. Taiwan is a province, but the Republic of China or ROC, that is the government now in Taiwan Island. That used to be the government that ruled the whole of China, that lost the Civil War in 1949. And the then President Chiang Kai-shek, with 2 million people, soldiers and government bureaucrats and soldiers, escaped to Taiwan Island and established government in exile. They will have another election in January 2028. The current president of Taiwan cannot run anymore. He is quite controversial. The president, the president now is eligible to run for a second term. The president of Taiwan now is Lai Ching-te of the DPP, Democratic Progressive Party. He is very controversial because he is accused by China as being a separatist independence advocate. So he has big problems with China government now. That's why the Taiwan and China trade, tourism, and other exchanges have been frozen in the last few years. And tensions have been quite high in the past few years. Ako personally, I'm not for anybody because I am non-partisan and I am friend of everyone. And Pandesal Forum is a non-partisan forum. Kalmoning Bakery Cafe, 87 years old, is non-partisan. We welcome everyone. We are friends with everyone. But I want to tell you, I think everyone should be given a chance to run. And I think we should not be biased against any candidate as of today. Let us suspend our biases. Let us suspend our dislike for anyone. Have an open mind. Study our options carefully. We still have 2 more years. Let us be open-minded. That is the essence of true democracy in the Philippines. Fair and square election, free and fair elections is what we want. And in 2028, if the election is fair, honest, and orderly, whoever wins the mandate of the country should have an all-out support for 6 years. Once again, thank you to everyone for listening to this podcast. Pandesal with Wilson Lee Flores. This is not only on Spotify. Please follow also Wilson Lee Flores YouTube channel. Please subscribe and tell others about Wilson Lee Flores YouTube, and of course, Pandesal with Wilson Lee Flores podcast. Thank you very much.